it's eye Grace, and today we're going to draw an eye. So basically what I do first is I draw a big oval, a long big oval, and then I draw a small oval, and then I connect the two with lines. On the top, I try to keep the oval like just smooth, and the bottom I do like a little up-down shape for the smaller oval, which I actually don't know what that's called. It's like your inner eye, tear duct, I have inner eye, that thing, yeah. And then I add a crease on top. I made mine pretty thick. If you want this to be easier, just make it a little closer to the eye, and I added an iris in the middle of the eye. And then I added eyebrows. And I kind of just like do whatever on eyebrows. I just go for it. But if you are one of those people that need a guide, by all means, you know, draw out a guide. So now I'm just putting down the lid color, and I keep the darker parts concentrated to the outer, like the inner third and the outer third. I leave the middle pretty light, and I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not like doing any fancy circles or shading techniques. I just kind of use really light pressure, and I go in and build up the color. And I keep the crease darker, and I try and like have the color be a gradient, if that makes any sense. Also, like near the tail end of the eyebrow, I make the color pretty dark, like going out, like if that makes any sense, because that's where your brow bone is, and typically, you know, in makeup and stuff, you are lightening your brow bone, so that's where I keep it dark, so then it looks lighter, like I've lightened my brow bone. And I moved my paper so you couldn't see it, which I later fixed, but what I was doing is just adding some more depth to the inner part of the eye too, because you typically have a little bit of darkness there. Then I go under the eye, and I do the same kind of thing that I did to the top of the eye, where I make the inner third and outer third dark, and I leave the middle bare. Leave, like a little white line with no shading, because that is where your tear ducts are, and everyone has them. Your eyelashes don't just grow out of your eyeballs, like, they grow underneath that line, so it'll look a lot more realistic if you keep it there. Anyways, you should also leave the, like, a little highlight around the, like, rim, the inner eye cornea thing. Cornea? Corner, I don't know. And I also just started adding some depth to the top of the eye, because your eyelid casts a shadow down onto your eye. So you should do a little gradient shadow starting at the top. And you also want to make the inner eye cornea thing dark too. I really hope that's called a cornea, because it'll be embarrassing if it isn't. And then I just started sketching in the shape for my iris. I make the dark outside rim really dark. I sketch in like a little fragmented looking like blob where I want the light to be hitting the eye, and I put in my pupil, and then for the outer dark rim, I just start doing like little spiky lines that come from the rim to make it look like more realistic. And I also add like another line of like little rim lines. It's hard to explain, but you can see me doing it in the video. I tend to skip around when I'm drawing, so I will, because it's bad to focus on one thing too much, because that'll end up looking really good, and then everything else just looks kind of like mediocre in comparison. So I like to have, you know, like an even level of mediocre in my art, so I do skip around a little bit, which is probably not good for the purposes of a tutorial. So then I'm at shading for the top because of the eyelid crease shadow, and I darken the rim again. I think right now I'm just trying to make it like round. This isn't a very realistic eye, because realistically, like, your iris is bigger and the waterline is closer to your iris, so we're just, but it's just semi-realistic, so just gonna roll with it. So add more darkness in the outer corner, and you can see me trying to make the brow bone a little more prominent with that shadow that I placed right there. Honestly, drawing's a lot like doing makeup, in my opinion. Like, that's how I usually think of it, is in terms of makeup if I were applying eyeshadow. So I like my eyebrows messy, so I just add some more random lines, and then I just started adding eyelashes. Like, the thing I see a lot of people do when they're beginning is add too many eyelashes. Honestly, less is more. I add like maybe 20 eyelashes very sparingly, and then I'll go back in. There should be even less on the bottom. Like, put 10 eyelashes on the bottom and 20 on the top, and then I go in very sparingly, thicken them up a little bit, and then I thicken like the top of my eye a little bit so it looks like eyeliner, because I just find that makes eyelashes look better. I'm not good enough at drawing to just, just do eyelashes and have them look like awesome. I need to add something to soften it up a little bit. Then in your little highlight, like, pretend it's a mirror reflection and draw some lines that match the eyelashes you drew on the top. That makes it look like the eyelashes are reflected in the light thing or whatever. It just looks really good, looks realistic. Just listen to me, please. And then I am just going in, adding some more dark levels, fixing things up. And yeah, that's it. That's how I draw semi-realistic eyes. If you've seen my homework, you'll see that I have eyes everywhere. Anyways, I am so sorry I missed last week's video. I hope you enjoyed this week's video and you learned something. Please tell me you learned something. If you are ever, like, inspired by my artwork or whatever, please, like, DM it to me on Instagram or tag me. I would love to see what you guys do. And if you want to know what my Instagram is, it's in the description box below. Always. Forever.